I have in front of me from the past 5 years, every single game that the Chiefs have played the Niners, every holding call that went against the Chiefs. So there's.
I'm waiting. They had to at least call one against Bosa. I mean, Bosa drops holding calls all the time, right?
For the win! Bogdanovich! The open shot. Look, it's the floating caught! Are you? Goes for Bunga. Miracle! To the playoffs!
Hello and welcome back to the Eastman Sport Report. I am your host, Maxwell Eastman, joined once again by my co-host, Steven Eastman.
Hello, Max. How you doing there today?
Doing good. Came back from basketball open gym. That's what they called it, open gym.
That's what they called it, open gym.
Open
So
gym.
yes, we have Max, the player of the Coach Player podcast, has officially transitioned from soccer to basketball season.
Soccer season is over, but basketball season is upon us. I am sorry. I wish I could do more.
Well, we do have to get. We did have a couple.
Yes.
It's been a couple weeks since we've been on the pod, so we had a couple wins by your soccer team. So the rules are: we win, we give a shout out to everybody who scored
Yes.
on your team. So the game against Victory was 2 scores by.
Jason.
Okay, the game against Futures.
Yes.
you guys had. Jason had 3,
3.
and was it Zach had the 1? Sorry, I had the other one up. Sorry, hold on. Hold that second. Hold that thought. Yes, it was Zach. Jason 3, Zach 1. And then in your last game of the season, you guys played Sale.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys won 9-1. So a good way to end the season. I'll list out everybody that scored. So Brendan had 1. Jacob had 1. Grant had 1. Eddie, senior night, he had 2, his first 2 of the season. So good job, Eddie. Jason had 2. Mateo had 1, and Zach had 1. And Max got 10 minutes in goal. Playing goalie.
We were up by 7, and I went, hey, can I have goal minutes? And coach went, sure, why not?
So Max got to play goalie.
I did good.
Yeah, for the one ball that came by you. Your team did a good job of protecting you. Anyway, okay, there as we wrap up soccer season for Max. Moving on to basketball season. I don't know how we're going to do shout-outs in basketball season, but we'll figure something out for next time. Okay, so what do you want to talk about first, Max?
I want to talk about the first 4 Kings games.
Oh, you want to do the Kings games first?
I want to do the Kings games first. Do you have those prepared?
Do I have those prepared? I just have to scroll down my list.
He has this long page of all the notes he has for the episode that we're going to have.
Okay.
What do you have for the first game? Do you have any notes against the Timberwolves?
Sorry, I was busy that night. I didn't watch a whole lot of that game. But my notes from the game, let's see here. I am not ready for that. So then from that game there, it was a close game. They lost on a last second. Was it Keegan Murray had a shot to win the game at the end, and he had a really good game, but he missed. So they ended up losing it. Who was it? Ant-Man had some free throws with about 2.5 seconds to go to take the lead and win. First off, it was great just to see Kings basketball playing.
True.
That was the best part about it. They had some good ups and downs from that game. But, overall it was, I feel like, well, first off, the Timberwolves.
We're in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Yeah, but they have Julius Randle, not Cat. So I was hoping that because we're playing the Timberwolves, and we actually play them 3 times, I think before November is over. So they're in our pool, the NBA Cup pool play. So we'll play them at least once there, and for some reason we play them another time. So we're going to get them 3 times. So part of it is that a good or bad because Julius Randle's new and they're working in Julius Randle. But we're still working in DeMar DeRozan.
Yes.
So that's a little bit of in the Kings, didn't start preseason very good, which preseason is like, who cares if you're 0-5, right?
Yeah.
But, they didn't play. It looks like I heard somebody else call this. It looks like they're you know, is if you're like when you're first driving a car and you're kind of playing with the gas pedal and you don't know how hard to hit it. I feel
Yeah.
like all the players are like, look, you take a turn and I take a turn, and they haven't figured out how to play together yet. With DeMar DeRozan being a big part of the team, so like they had spurts of being good and then spurts of yeah. So that's my takeaway from the Timberwolves game. It had some really good moments, and then some others like, come on, team. I don't think they were making very good threes in that game.
Yeah.
So you know, what do you have any thoughts on the Timberwolves game?
I was busy that night with a lot of homework that I had to make up before the end of the quarter. So
Where's your commitment to the pod, Max?
I'm sorry. Once we start making money from this, I'll have a commitment to the podcast. So
I just like giving Max a bad time.
we know, we can tell.
So one of the things I thought that was interesting is if we look at the box score from this game, one of the points of emphasis that came out of preseason was that the Kings wanted to focus on offensive rebounds. Okay, so they, you know, this was Monty McNair and Coach Brown getting together and saying, "Hey, you need to focus on offensive rebounds. Hey, Max, when you play basketball this year, your job is to focus on offensive rebounds."
Gotcha.
That's your coaching tip. Okay. So anyway, that's what they told the Kings. And they specifically said, hey, when you're on the wings or the corners, when the shots go up, the guys from the corners need to crash. So like last year, Max was an offense and he actually was stuck out on the corner sometimes. You need to, as soon as the shot goes up, crash, right? That's exactly what they told the Kings. Would you like to know how many offensive rebounds they had in game one?
12.
No, they had 4.
Oh.
So they didn't do a very good job of focusing on offensive rebounds. That was the point of the bit was, hey, they focused on this, and they got 4. So, yeah, not very good. They also shot, they shot 37% from threes, you know, only made 11. But the Timberwolves made 20, 23. So that's kind of a, you know, big difference in the game there. Anyway, so there's your thoughts on the Timberwolves game. It was great to see it. Good to see Kings basketball back in action. But they didn't win.
It was a really close game though against a really good team. So you can't
Yeah.
complain that much against for your first game of the season.
Yeah, and the Timberwolves already played. Like they played opening night, and in you know it was close the whole way back and forth. So back and forth game. Kings were actually up a lot in the third quarter. I mean, not up a lot, but they were up majority of the third quarter, and then it was really back and forth in the fourth. So anybody could have won it. And yeah, so the Kings play the Timberwolves next on November 15th and November 27th.
Okay.
And then again in February. So we'll play the Timberwolves a couple more times here. Okay, you ready to move on to the next game?
Yes, the Lakers game. That was a fun game to watch I think like I came in during the start of the fourth quarter or like 12 minutes not 12 minutes into it. I'm trying to think of the numbers. It said on the clock 10 minutes into it. 10 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes in. 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. I can't do math right now.
Dude, 10 minutes left in the game.
Yes.
Okay.
And the announcers said that the Kings had been outscored so far in that quarter 17-0.
Yeah.
And I went, we what?
Yeah. So I went back and focused on this game to watch this game. First off, I one of the things I want to do on this pod is how to do coaching moments. So we have to figure out how to do some coaching moments with the actual video.
Yes.
We're actually we're doing video this year, so we'll have to figure out how to do that. So I have some coaching moments from the game. We'll try to make maybe a coaching, Eastman Sport Report. This will be the coaches report. Maybe a few minutes long on each, on a few games, at least one game a week. I'll try to do some of those. Anyway, side note. About the game itself, though, Kings are down by 15 in the first half. So then we're not playing very good.
Yes.
I do have to say, give credit to Anthony Davis. J.J. Redick, I don't know how good he's going to do, but so far the first couple of games he's doing really good. And his kind of major thing is, hey, we're going to kind of take the ball somewhat out of LeBron James' hand because he can get his points whenever, and we need to focus on AD. And so the first couple of games has been like 80. They're focusing on AD. So did a really good job. The Kings were down by 15 in the first half. They take the lead early in the third, or the Kings were down by 15, but they took the lead in the
Yes.
third period, and then they led most of the third period.
Yes.
They go into the third period, end of the third, and they were up by 7,
Yes.
and then the run happens. Ended up being 21-0. Lakers 21, Kings 0. So that was horrible. And I was actually going back to watch this game to put notes down of what actually happened. And it was, in some ways, it's like, one of the reasons why they got DeMar DeRozan was they needed a run stopper.
Yes.
I forget if he was in the game. I don't think he was at this point. But what happens? Kings missed 2 normal shots. Fox had a tough shot. There was no ball movement. Next time down, they had good ball movement. But Fox had an easy shot, but then he makes it a tougher shot. Like, I think he had a shot like kind of like at the block. And then he waited like a second or two, and he stepped back and took a tougher shot. And so it's almost like, hey, take the easy shot when you get it.
Yeah.
But then when you look at like what happened with the Lakers, they made a triple, made a 3. I forget who made it. And then LeBron made a 3. Both of them were actually very well defended. Then LeBron posted up Fox, and you're like, okay, Fox got him out of transition, help didn't come. I mean, if LeBron guarding Fox is decent, but LeBron's bigger. Like, come on.
Yeah.
LeBron started feeling it, and he had a heat check 3 from a wide angle. LeBron had another contested 3 over Sabonis, and then LeBron had 16 points in that run. So, it kind of went like, hey, there's a couple threes, and then LeBron posted up, and then he made another bucket, and then he made another 3, and then another 3. And it's almost like LeBron got hot. But the problem is the Kings went stone cold during this run. So it's like out of a timeout, the Kings go to Sabonis DeRozan on a little pick and roll, DHO action.
Yeah.
A little miscommunication, ball goes out of bounds. Okay, that's only 2 games into the season. DeRozan back cut, and Sabonis missed him. Monk had a long 3. It wasn't a horrible 3, but a long 3. Trey Lyles had a kick-out 3, which is a good shot.
Yes.
Just missed it. Sabonis with the ball tipped away from him, like he's kind of at the top of the key. They come from behind, and they tip the ball out. Like, that happened a lot when he was kind of flustered in last season. I remember OKC doing a lot with him. So it was almost like everything that could go wrong for the Kings, like they're missing shots, making shots that were easy and the tougher shots.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they forced anything during this, but they had some miscommunication, some turnovers, and that's how you end up with a 21-0 run. The other team gets hot, and you don't. So that's my analysis. Really, really deep thought.
Okay, well, what about after that? Because it came back and ended up being a really close game to end it off.
Oh yeah, the Kings came back and made a run of it. And actually, to end the run, it was right after the tip away. They tipped it from Sabonis. LeBron had it. LeBron passes. Fox steals it, comes down and makes a 3. Ends the run. Okay, awesome. At that point, let's see, if they were up by 7, 21, so they're down by 14. They came back and made it about a 2-point game. So they made a run, they came back, and they got it really close. And at that point, the other interesting thing is, like, during the run, Herter was in the game. Now, he had been playing really good defensively, but he ended up with like a -29 plus minus for that game, like horrible. So, like, I think that was also the game that was also the game that I think Keon Ellis got a goose egg, didn't play, and you're like,
What?
yeah, like you needed a defensive presence out there. I do have to say, give credit to Herter. He is making his shots and he is playing better defense, but at that point he wasn't. So the Kings did come back, made it really close. DeRozan got a post up, then an and one from a mid-range shot. DeRozan had a shot, what Harrison used to do. So, like, when the Kings needed a shot, they'd post up Harrison Barnes. Well, now they're posting up DeMar DeRozan. So, three straight possessions. The Kings got the ball to DeRozan. He was scoring. The outlet passes to Fox to Monk, one dribble, easy bucket. So, there's a couple really good outlet passes to Monk. So, that's how they got back into it is, okay, DeMar DeRozan got a couple buckets, and then they started fast breaking on the Lakers. Like, they had a lot of fast breaks in this team here. Then the other way, going backwards, LeBron and AD were actually doing kind of a two-man game, pick and roll with the two of them.
Yes.
But you're like, why weren't they doing this like last couple of years? I don't know if they were, but I don't remember.
JJ Redick.
He's so far done pretty good. And then Davis kind of bullies us for a bucket over Keegan. So Fox didn't. I think the key miss of the game was the Kings were down by 4 with 1:20 to go. and Fox came down and missed a 3. Like, that would have been huge. A 1-point game with 1:20 to go would have been huge. They missed it. Then Fox gets switched on to AD, and the Lakers score and get up by 6 again. So, like, you know, I do have to say there was one. Oh, this is what happened. So Fox gets switched on to AD. Monk came down and got great help. He helps it take away from AD when he dribbles. So that's what. So Fox is guarding Monk, and then AD starts to dribble. So when like you have a little guarding a big, and the big starts to dribble, another guy comes in from behind, and Monk comes and steals the ball. Made it a 2-point game with 55 seconds to left. Like if Fox would have made the 3, like now you're actually up by 1. Like that made a huge difference. AD came down and make a big 3. Sabonis had a dunk, 3-point game. Had another pick and roll by Sabonis to get that dunk with Monk. That was really good. The ball, Sabonis and DeRozan are both helped. Anyway, DeRozan doesn't pick up his man. And okay. So the ball came down. There was a pick and roll, and I forget who it was. I think LeBron was driving, or somebody was driving. It wasn't LeBron. It was driving in the middle of the course. Sabonis came over to help, and then DeRozan also came over to help. But that was too many because DeRozan's man, which is Rui Hachimura, comes down. He gets like a dunk, and that kind of sealed the game right there. So anyway, that's my summary of the third and fourth quarters. My notes there. The other thing I'd say was, remember they focused on offensive rebounds. Would you like to guess how many offensive rebounds they had in the Lakers game?
8.
Well, it went up from 4.
5.
5. Very
Yay.
good. Yeah, they're on an upward trend.
I can count.
You want to
Let's
guess
go.
how many Lakers offensive rebounds they had in that game?
10.
13.
Dang it.
Yeah. So anyway,
But then,
that's our 0-2 start. Now the
Yes.
funny thing was they were 0-2. We were supposed to record this on Sunday, but things happen, and
I was sick.
so the Kings they were trying to wait to get a win until we did our season preview, which is coming soon. Other notes from the Lakers game? Sabonis is tied for 10th in league history with triple doubles all time. He tied Larry Bird for number triple doubles, so he has 59 triple doubles. It's tied with Larry Bird for 10th all time. LeBron also got a triple double in the game. That was his 113th. He's 5th all time. So, and I think Sabonis could get up to, so he's tied with Larry Bird. Next time he gets one, he'll be 9th by himself. I think he'd get to 8th pretty easy. It's like he's 59. I think that guy was in the 60s or something. So, but other than that, then there's like big gaps. So anyway, Sabonis moving up the all-time triple-double. Good for him. Nice. Okay.
I agree.
Anything else from the Lakers game?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
Bronny James did not play.
Big surprise.
Anyway,
Okay. Yeah, that's all we're gonna say about that. Okay, Kings Timberwolves not Timberwolves.
Trailblazers.
Kings Trailblazers last night. Kings won.
Last night?
Yeah, it was last night. They played it back to back. They played tonight against the Jazz. Last night against the Trailblazers.
Oh, dang. I did not realize.
Yeah, so the Kings won 111-98. De'Aaron Fox scored 24. The other nice thing about this one, so Fox scored 24. That surpassed 10,000 career points for him. That put him 5th in Kings history. Now, that's not just Sacramento Kings history. That is 5th in Kings history, which number 1 is Oscar Robertson. Number 2 is Jack Twyman. Number 3 was Mitch Richmond. Number 4 was Nate Tiny Archibald. And then 5th is De'Aaron Fox. And Nate Tiny Archibald is like 10,700. So Fox could catch him to 4th all-time in the Kings list by the end of the season, my thought. Okay, there we are. And I heard an interesting thought on that. Somebody else was talking about this. If you had the Mount Rushmore, and let's just do Sacramento Kings.
Yes.
Not all Kings. That was all Kings. Mount Rushmore Kings, you got 4 spots.
So there's...
Who's the top 4 in Sacramento
Okay,
Kings
so
history?
there's Mitch Richmond.
Yep.
Why am I blanking on his name right now? You know who I'm thinking of, but I'm blanking on his name right now.
Number 4?
Yes.
Chris Webber.
Chris Webber.
Okay.
I don't know why I was blanking on
Chris
his name.
Webber, very good.
And then there's Peja Stojakovic.
Okay, so that's 3.
And this is when it gets hard. Because you could go Mike Bibby.
Okay.
You could go DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be in the conversation.
Or you could go to Aaron Fox.
Yeah. I think it's Fox. So I think Fox. Well, Fox and Peja they're close. I think Fox eventually will be way above Peja, but right now it's very, very
Yes.
close. I think you could also have like Vladi could be in the picture. But I agree. Number 1 and number 2 is very easy right
Yes.
now. It's Mitch Richmond and Chris Webber.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do like the Peja. I heard somebody else say with Adelman,
Who?
Rick Adelman. He was the coach when the Kings were really good for those 8.
Okay, when you say Mount Rushmore, I think of players.
That's
I don't
true.
think of Rick Adelman
That's true.
during the 2002 season.
Yeah, but anyway,
My bad.
he was the coach there for 8 seasons. Okay.
Sorry, I'm a baby. I was born, but I was born after that time.
Yes, you missed all.
I was born during.
Born at a very young age.
Yes, I think I was born during the playoff drought, or 1 year before it.
1 year, the first year into the playoff drought, because their last season went to the playoffs was 2006. You were born in 2007.
My bad.
Sorry, should have had you earlier or later. I don't know. Okay, so if we're trending on offensive rebounds,
Yes.
the Kings had the first game had 4, next game had 5. They're trending up. Where do you think they're at this game against the Trailblazers?
10.
Close, 9.
Dang
Okay.
it.
So close. So
I'm
close.
going to get it right one of these
You're,
days.
you're gonna get it right. The funny thing is the Trailblazers at 12. So like you were trending up to 9, but they still bit it. One of the awesome things I think against the Trailblazers, one that's really won this game from a stat perspective, not only did they play really good and all that type of fun stuff, but they did play really good. They shot 40% from 3. And the Trailblazers shot 18%. Trailblazers made
18?
18%.
18.
So that means they made 4 total threes in the game. 4 out of 22 was their shot total from 3.
That's how good I can shoot from 3. That's crazy.
I know. You could be on the Trailblazers right now.
Don't lie to me.
No, you couldn't. You're too short. Sorry.
I would be shorter than Steph Curry by about an inch.
He's 6'1", isn't he?
He's 6'2".
Oh, he's 6'2"? Okay.
Hold on. Steph Curry, high 6'2". Thank you.
He's 6'2". Okay.
I know my things.
Okay.
I'm
You're only
smart.
like a half inch shorter than me. You're like 6'1.5".
Don't dox me.
You're not 6'2". I give you that. Okay. So, yes. Let's see. Chris Murray.
Chris Murray.
Would you actually let's give this a thing here. Who made more threes, Keegan Murray or Chris Murray?
Keegan Murray.
Nope, Chris did. Keegan went 0 for 3 in threes yesterday. Chris made 1.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I mean, the Kings made 40% of the threes, and Keegan went 0 for 3. Chris made 1 of their threes. Anyway, Anthony Synums 1 for 7.
Ooh.
Denny Avdija 0 for 4. Yeah, the rest of the team just didn't do very good anyway. So, good win. The Kings finally pulled away in the third quarter. I heard the first couple quarters, first halves were not doing very good. Yeah, anyways, they did pull away in the third period and did it. If we skip forward to tonight's game, reoccurring theme, hey, third quarter, Kings are pulling away from the teams they should win, and they did it
We
again.
pulled away from the Timberwolves in the third quarter. Pulled
Yeah.
away from the Lakers in the third quarter. Did it to the Trailblazers, and now we did it to the Jazz.
Hey, I like that trend.
Could we have fourth quarter Kings and not third quarter Kings, preferably?
Well, third quarter Kings is good. You just got to finish the game. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than first quarter Kings that we had like midway through the year last season.
Yeah. Another good trend for the Kings after they won tonight. So tonight they won 113-96. So the Kings are now 2-2 on the season, getting much better. One of the other stats that I love about so far from the Kings is, let's see if Max can guess what I'm going to say here. What was a thing that the Kings were not very good at last year? What's a stat they were not very good at last year?
Steals. Nope. De'Aaron Fox led the league. Let me think. Not points. Not 3 points. Not rebounds. That's too obvious because we already talked about that. Not blocks. Blocks?
No.
I don't know then. Assists.
Free throw percentage.
Oh,
The Kings were one of
yeah.
the worst in shooting free throw percentage.
I forgot about that. Probably because I blocked it out of my memory for a trauma response.
Yes, that was trauma response. They are actually number 1 in the league right now in free throw percentage. The DeMar DeRozan effect is real on free throw percentage. They are up to 82.8% from the free throw line, which is number 1 in the NBA right now. Again, ahead of the Boston Celtics.
Sacramento Kings
Yes.
2023 free throw.
Can I go back to last season and see if I can get this? Who's going to get it this first year? Where were we at last year? Free throw percentage.
I just want to see.
Sacramento was last. They were 30th last year at
Oh.
74.5. They were 30th last year.
We improved by 8%.
Yeah, and moving from 30th place to first.
Moving on up in the world.
Hey, you know?
Can't complain. Can't complain.
So
we'll
like,
never complain about free throws.
yes, that is one thing that, hey, so far good this season. I'm loving the free throw shooting. I think there was one game that they shot in the 90%, I think, against the Lakers. Last couple of games, they've been in the 80s. So awesome job, but the Kings are improving that. Hey, since we're tracking this, so we're going to track this every game. How many offensive rebounds for the Kings against the Jazz tonight?
I'm not going to look it up, even though I really want to.
Since the Kings said they're focusing on this.
10.
Close, 9.
Again?
Again, 9. And again, the Jazz got 12, so they did not out-rebound an offensive rebound.
I'm really bad at gambling.
Yeah, don't gamble. So there's your Kings' first 4 games of the season. So they're 2-2. Their offense is finally starting to click. One of the interesting things that I also took from notes-wise is Kevin Huerter starting instead of Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis did not play. Coach's decision against the Lakers. Don't agree with that. I think Keon Ellis should be playing. The starting, I could go back and forth on. But the other thing is like when you come off the bench, like Malik Monk is your only scorer off the bench. I mean, the Trey Lyles should, but like
He's not doing so far.
Yeah. Now he just came back from injury, so it's great that both Huerter and Trey Lyles were there for the opener. But like they're two of their top 8 players, and they did not have any preseason, so that could have been why they started a little slow in the first 2 games. Anyway, so the Kings are doing better on that.
I think we're good for the Kings.
Okay.
Okay, San Francisco 49ers. I hate the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs with a burning passion. I want to see their team suffer in ways unimaginable by humans. I also hate the Titans for trading them DeAndre Hopkins, but that's for different reasons.
Are you sure? You want to take is there any more emotions that you want to let out against the Chiefs? Okay.
If I said anything more, you'd be upset and have to make me walk home.
We'd have to edit that out if it go bleep bleep. Okay. I don't even know what to say against the Chiefs game. And the thing is I don't even. It's really
The Chiefs aren't a good team, yet they keep winning games. I don't understand it.
well. The Chiefs' offense is not that good. It's their defense.
Yes.
the Spagnuolo defense is something that like they are carrying the team. Like Mahomes is not playing horrible, but he's not playing great.
Yes.
He's kind of like middle of the road.
You don't throw 3 interceptions against a team,
only
lead
had-
the league in interceptions, and still be
7-0.
7-0 now.
Yeah.
6-0
At that time,
at that time without one of the league's best defenses.
I know, Spagnuolo,
He's
yeah.
doing exactly what Tom Brady did, where he had some really off years, but he had amazing defenses that were coached by Bill Belichick, just being able to carry his team throughout the entirety of the season.
I know. And the Spagnuolo defense, that's what's frustrating Purdy. Like Purdy threw 3 interceptions.
Yes.
Now one of them was like he was tipped on his arm. Okay, well,
Okay.
he didn't throw it fast enough. Another one was I think miscommunication between him and Bell. Okay, so like maybe get him to Purdy. But like still 3 interceptions is not good.
And the other one was just Purdy.
But you're like, okay, that Spagnuolo defense is really good. And like now I do have to say the Niners lost their 3 best wide receivers in that game.
Yes. Juwan Jennings wasn't in the game.
Debo was out at the very early.
Debo thought he could play and then learned he had pneumonia and fluid in his lungs.
Come on, pneumonia. Get out there and play, dude. Sorry, no. Okay.
I had pneumonia. That doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't. I'm joking.
And then Brandon
Debo.
Ayuk tore both his ACL and MCL in the game, which means he's probably out until this time next season.
Yeah, at least until next season. So the other hard thing is like we played better against the Cowboys without, like, Debo was only there half the time.
Yeah.
But that's because he had practice. Like, the other guys knew they were going to play. This game, the whole game plan was Ayuk and Debo. And you're like, Ricky Pearsall comes in and plays his first ever game, and he ends up getting the most snaps.
The most healthy wide receiver on the 49ers was a guy who was shot 8 weeks ago.
I know. And he's the most healthy. Yeah. So not only did the Spagnuolo defense play really good, and Purdy didn't have one of his better games, threw in 3 interceptions. He didn't have anybody, He had people, but they were not people that he practiced with, and not really good. One note, the defense, Chiefs defense, had not let anybody rush over 50 yards. Jordan Mason got to, was it over 50? I think 56 or 58, I think it was. So he did get a little bit more than what the Chiefs normally give.
56 yards.
But if you look at the first half,
Didn't Mason get injured that game as well?
yeah. At one point, the Chiefs had 150 yards of offense, and the Niners had 50 in the first half.
Great.
In the first half, the Chiefs had 12 first downs, the Niners had 5. Like, the Niners offense did not.
That was not a fun game to watch.
No.
It was just pain. And like, well, it's close at least because the Chiefs were doing stuff, but they couldn't really finish drives.
Yeah.
And the Niners couldn't get anything started for a while.
Yeah. So, I mean, at one point, they made it 14-12, and I thought we had a chance, even with everything else going wrong. And then that's when I think we still had 2 turnovers after that. So, I don't know what else I want to say about that game.
I'm in misery. Anyway.
And back to the other thing that you said at the cold open.
Yes.
Still waiting on a Chiefs holding call against.
Still waiting on Chiefs holding call.
Yeah, if you watch, it's not just the Niners against the Chiefs. Look, this is a reoccurring theme throughout the whole season. We've mentioned it a few other times on this pod.
Yes.
About could the refs just call calls against the Chiefs? Like it is a thing that like the whole league is noticing, and like everybody is noticing that the refs are totally being one-sided. I don't know.
It's just like when the Patriots had Tom Brady.
Yeah, they just, oh, Tom Brady, you're so awesome. Oh, Mahomes, you're so awesome. Yeah, well, when they don't call stinking holding calls in your offensive line, and they can pretty much grab the defenders running after him, so he doesn't have to worry about it, it makes him way better. Yeah, and then the Niners get called to have good plays, and they get called back from that.
We're going to move on from this
Okay,
game.
let's
'cause
go
we could have a lot of things to say about the Chiefs, and I have a lot of things to say about the Chiefs. However, it is not in my good moral compass to say those things. And
Okay, how about them Cowboys?
how about them Cowboys? Woo!
Much better game.
It was a fun game. It was. I don't. The Niners aren't playing good in the fourth quarter because the Cowboys started coming back, and I was like, please don't. Just please don't. It was probably garbage time, and it didn't really matter in the end. But like, it was too close at the end.
It was too close. I mean, if you think about it, the Niners did not play a really good first half. Like,
In the first half, it was a slog.
because it was 10-6 at halftime, and we were like, "Come on, can they just do something?" The funny thing is like we looked it up at halftime, and I think in my notes here, at halftime the average yards per play in the first half was Niners at 7.6, which for reference, 7.2 is the number 1 in the NFL for like a game. So like 7.6 is really, really good.
Yes.
But that means the Niners had a really good play and then probably a penalty the next one, or a really good play and then 2 bad ones so they couldn't get much first downs. It's like they kept like doing. I feel like and this is somewhat consistent with the Niners over the season, is they're not consistent on offense. It's like last year, like they are clicked on offense. They'd go out there and just the offense was just rolling, and no one could really stop them.
I think it's because of all the injuries that are just keeping players out of practice. In the Brandon Ayuk situation, where he wasn't in practice until about a week before the season started.
So you're telling me practice matters?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking. As a coach, I love to hear
What
that.
point are you trying to make here?
Practice matters, right?
Oh, really?
I love your point.
Oh, really?
That's an awesome
Oh, really?
point.
It's not
yeah.
that.
Yeah, practice matters.
I'm gonna stop. Don't want to argue with you right now.
So, they could not get anything running. They finally had played an awesome third quarter and scored 21 points, 3 touchdowns in the third period. And, offense was finally looking
I
consistent.
do want to say one thing. I was playing against him in a fantasy football league because we were in the same fantasy football league. He had George Kittle and CeeDee Lamb, and I was up by about 20 points. I think it was going to the game. I lost by 30.
It was only 22.
Okay, that's okay. I was down by 50 going into the Steelers game.
Then your Steelers team had
And
a
then
punt return
yes.
for a touchdown, gave you 25 points. So, yes, you started the Sunday night game up by 20. Now, this game is a little higher scoring than most fantasy teams.
Yes.
Normal scores get to like 200 points in these games. But anyway, you were up by 20. At the end of that night, I was up by like 60, wasn't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh. That was an awesome. I mean, I did want the Niners to actually guard CeeDee Lamb.
Yes.
But loving the George Kittle, CeeDee Lamb point thing was going off here. A few notes that I had here. So again, Dak Prescott, actually likes to throw interceptions against the Niners, or the Niners like to pick him off, however you want to say it.
Dak isn't good.
Yeah. It's actually funny. It's funny this week. Some people are actually starting to say nationally, "Oh, you know what? Brock Purdy might actually be better than Dak Prescott." Anyway, the first interception by Jair Brown, that was caused by Bosa. Bosa went in there and pressured Prescott to make a slightly bad throw
Yes.
and give it. So, hey, that's where the Bosa effect. Bosa's actually been playing really good the last couple weeks, doing really good. Loved the Garendo come into the game. So Mason got injured. Garendo came in and played really, really good. Loving our rookie class in this game. He was revving. There was one drive where he had a long 15-yard run, and then a 17-yard run, and then a 12, and then they had another one 19, and holding call, and you're like, oh, come on. So that was the Niners doing really, really good, and then you got a holding call, and they get a field goal out of it. You're like, oh, come on, we were down the 11 or 12-yard line, and we didn't get anything.
Yeah,
Just got a field goal out of it. That was the first half, and then second half, finally got off there. Kittle got his touchdown. Garendo had his first career touchdown.
That was cool to see.
Lenore.
Lorendo?
Yeah, I don't know where that came. I was adding Lenore and Garendo at this Lenore.
Lorendo. Nothing pops up.
Yeah. Diamonor Lenore had a great interception where he kind of reached over and caught that one on the sideline, and then
Leonardo.
he's got his elbow in, so he landed in bounds. That was awesome. And at that point, the game was totally momentum for the Niners' way. And then for some reason, the defense was kind of letting the Cowboys, just kind of let him go slowly down the field. And then they just didn't guard CeeDee Lamb.
Why?
Well,
I think it was a miscommunication. Somehow you didn't communicate that someone's supposed to guard CeeDee Lamb, the best receiver on the Cowboys.
yeah, the first one was totally
Twice.
The first one was totally miscommunication as to how that happened. The second one, the two Niners defenders must have been in zone, so they
Yes.
ran into each other and fell to the ground. So that one, you're like,
That's how George Kittle also got his touchdown. So
well, no, they got a touchdown because his touchdown was,
yes,
the defender ran into a Niners player.
who was it Ronnie Bell? Ronnie Bell was running that.
I think it was Conley. But
I don't know.
anyway, yeah.
Well, Conley was pushing his Cowboys player because he was not letting him go, and then
Yeah.
they crashed, and it was anyway, point still stands.
Yes, CeeDee Lamb wide open. Please guard the guy unless he's on my fantasy team.
Or he's not playing the Niners.
Or he's not playing the Niners. So, yeah, two wide open. That made the game way too close at the end. That should not have been that close. But without those points, I may not have beat you in fantasy. So, the Niners still won, and I won in fantasy. So, there you go. Okay, moving on. Another thing that I've been tracking a little bit in the Niners is their third down conversion. Again, with the Niners starting playing consistent. In the first half, they were 2 of 7 on third down, not very good. And then in the second half, they were 6 of 9. So much better in the second half. Ended at 8 of 16. I have a couple other notes on the Niners-Cowboys game. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, so some quick notes here. George Kittle.
National Tight Ends Day.
Oh, yeah, very
National Tight Ends Day.
Yes.
16 touchdowns for tight ends that week day, which is the most in national tight end history.
On National Tight End Day.
Yes.
Which is only like 4 or 5 years old. But hey, we'll take it. George
Sounds
Kittle.
cool.
George Kittle got into some moving up the Niners history. So he now has 500 catches in Niners history, which is now 5th in the all-time list. So he's in the list that he's on of career leaders for catches with the Niners. Yeah, of course, number 1 is Jerry Rice.
Vernon Davis.
No,
Dwight Clark.
He's not on the list.
Oh, darn.
No. Actually, Dwight Clark is there. He's 506. Roger Craig
Let's
with
go.
508, a running back with 508. And then Terrell Owens.
Oh,
His son is on the team right now, Tariq. So number 1 is Jerry Rice. Number 2, Terrell Owens with 592. Jerry Rice has 1,281, double anybody else. Roger Craig 508.
gosh.
Dwight Clark at 506 and Kittle at 500. So with only 9 more receptions, Kittle moves into 3rd place on the Niners history, but doing really good. The other thing that Kittle did with his receiving yards, he has 6,777 career receiving yards, which is 3rd most in franchise history. He passed Dwight Clark, so he's only 6 catches behind Dwight Clark, but now he passed him in yardage, so he's only behind Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens. So again, 3rd place is at 6,777. He passed Dwight Clark. He's now 27 yards beyond Dwight Clark. Terrell Owens has 8,572. So like a little less than 2,000 ahead of him. Jerry Rice has a 19,247.
well, that's going to take a little bit to break.
Yeah, I don't know if he was going to break that. So the other good notes about this game is interesting notes, and I know we got to move on here for this, is receiver snap count. So again, Debo went out from a rib injury in the game, but Ricky Pearsall and everybody else practiced. You still didn't have Juan Jennings. The receiver had the most snaps. Chris Conley with 52. Ricky Pearsall had 40.
Nice.
Debo had 38. Ronnie Bell had 15. Now, why is Ronnie Bell getting 15? I like Cowing better, but whatever.
Okay, Cowing and Ronnie Bell need to learn from Ayuk. You need to learn from Debo Samuel and George Kittle how to block the defenders. There were multiple times where it would have been a really big gain or even a touchdown if Ronnie Bell and Cowing blocked properly.
I think, yeah, totally agree. They need to get in that. The last notes that I have for this game was quarterback pressures. The offensive line for the Niners only allowed 6, which is tied for their season low. Good job, offensive line. And then on the defensive side, Bosa had 6, Collins had 5, Okinawa had 5, Floyd had 3, Beal had 1, Elliott had 1, and Fred Warner had 1. So good job on quarterback pressures. Okay. Anything else in the Niners game?
Nope, not a single thing.
We got to wrap up our prime time picks.
I want to go back to the Seahawks week because in that week, I went perfect with a capital P.
So we do picks not only in the pod, we just do the primetime picks, but we also do a family thing where we do every pick for the whole game weekend. Max got everything the whole weekend right.
Everything.
Was it 14 or 15 a week? Probably 14 0 because there's buys now. Good job, Max is 14 0. I am tied for the lead with your sister for.
Okay, did you have a perfect week? I didn't think so.
No, I didn't have a perfect week, but I do.
Wow.
I am,
yeah.
leading overall. So okay.
This guy over here.
Yeah. So it's been a couple weeks since we had the pod because the Niners were there and stuff like that. So I was up 15-8. 15-8 was my record. Max was 13-10. Max had his 4-0 week. We both went 2-2. This past week, we both went 3-1. So Max did catch up to me. I'm at 23-12. Max is at 22-13. So I'm up by 1 in prime time picks. The one pick we need to talk about from this past weekend allows us to. We always pick an extra game. Niners are prime time. So the extra game we picked before we knew what happened was Bears Commanders. Number 1 pick versus number 2 pick.
Because we were looking through the games and went, I don't really care about that one. I don't really care about that one. That one, maybe no. Sure, Bears Commanders sounds fun.
Yeah.
Bears can be good against the Commanders because the Commanders defense isn't great,
But it's
good.
number 1 pick versus number 2 pick.
So
Okay,
interesting.
yeah.
And then the Commanders don't score a touchdown for the entirety of the game clock. They score, I think it's 12 points off of just field goals.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams goes down, drives all the way to the field, to the goal line. He snaps it, hands it off to an offensive lineman who fumbles it at the goal line. Commanders pick it up.
And that was about 6 minutes left on the game.
Yes. Then the Commanders can't finish the game off, and Caleb Williams gets another chance and then go down and this time get a touchdown to, I'm going to say, Keenan Allen, I think.
I don't remember who it was. I'll look it up here. But anyway, yes, they get a touchdown with how much time left?
20, I think it's 25 seconds
I
left.
think it was 23. But
23
anyway, close
seconds
enough.
left.
Yes.
And then didn't they get a 2-point conversion?
Yes, because
Okay.
yes.
And then the Bears get a 2-point conversion, which means now the Commanders have to get a touchdown in 23 seconds.
Hey, no problem.
Lots
we
of
got Jaden Daniels.
Lots of problems, actually. You're not Patrick Mahomes. You can't do this. Apparently, you can't, actually. Commanders, Jaden Daniels gets it down to, I think he throws the Hail Mary. His foot is on the 35-yard line. So they get it down to about the 40.
Well, they snapped it from the 47, but of course you got to be behind the line of scrimmage, so he's running around for like 12 seconds.
So his foot is on the 35-yard line after he's running around. Zeros on the clock. He throws it up before the play started. Technically, when it was going. I forget the Bears player's name. I really wish I had his name right now.
That caught it?
Bears
Oh,
player.
no.
Bears player.
The Bears player that was taunting
Commanders fans and trying to raise the roof and like making fun of them because it's a Hail Mary. They're not going to do it. So Jaden Daniels throws it, sees that the mosh pit is forming around mid left side. He throws it there. The Bears player sees that the mosh pit is also forming, so he runs over. He jumps up and tips the ball, which you should do because you're a defensive player. But there's only one person behind you, and he's a Commanders player, and he catches it. Commanders don't score the entire time of the game, besides when the game ends. Commanders win.
That was an amazing play.
Okay, we saw. So you were reading the play-by-play on ESPN,
Yeah, because I was
and
we were watching
and then you're
another
like,
game.
okay, and then you saw how the Commanders won.
Mm-hmm.
We were watching pregame before the Niners.
Yeah.
You saw that the Commanders won, and
And
then
I was like, what? Well, first off, I was like, oh, okay.
the Commanders won, and then you go through the play-by-play, and then go, okay, they got the ball with 23 seconds left. Wait, they what?
What?
They what? They scored a touchdown? And then, okay, hey, Max, watch this. And we watched the whole thing happen.
No, I didn't know what happened, except I just know
we
that
watched the replays happen. We watched the fumble. We watched the Commanders not being able to finish. We watched the Bears go down and get a 2-point touchdown, 2-point conversion. We watched, and then we watched the Hail Mary for Jaden Daniels. And our mom is there too. My mom, your wife, is there too. And even she goes, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah. That was
So that was fun.
fun.
Anyway, primetime picks for this week,
Yes.
so we can move on quickly.
Okay.
Okay, Thursday night football, Halloween night, Texans, Jets. Does Aaron Rodgers revive his career on Halloween night? Ooh,
No.
oh man.
Sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we're both going Texans that game. Sorry, I like CJ Stroud.
I'm
and
sorry.
D'Amico Ryans.
The Jets just kind of lost to what's his name? That's right, Jacoby Brissett and the Patriots.
Yeah, after Drake May get knocked out in that game.
Oops.
Okay, so because the Niners are on a bye this week,
Mm-hmm.
we normally do four games. There's the 3 prime times. We picked an extra game. The extra game is Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers this
Which
week.
looks to be the best game of the week.
Yeah, so we picked the hardest game to pick, which,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that makes it hard for us. But Max, why don't you pick that one first?
I'm going to go off my power rankings.
Okay.
I'm not going to say what it is yet, but I'm just going to say that the Lions are ahead of the Green Bay Packers. So I choose the Lions. Also, isn't it?
Is Jordan Love healthy?
He's day to day. He has an not oblique. He has a groin strain.
Okay.
So he should play that, but
Okay.
he Hold on.
This is where it's like you picked Detroit. I would love to pick Green Bay, but Detroit is on such a run. Like, they scored 52 points this weekend with Jared Goff only throwing for, was it 40-something yards? No, maybe he had, I think he ended up with like
73.
He had 73 yards total. Like, what? Like, their whole team is doing really good. So, I from a Niners perspective, I hope they're peaking right now and they don't play this good at the end of the season. And the Niners
You know
are
when
better.
we play them like the second to last game.
Yeah, so hopefully by then we have, Christian McCaffrey and Dre Greenlaw and other people healthy.
Hold on, I just have to make.
But-
I have to check something to. Oh,
But-
dun.
Yeah.
Where is it? I'm trying to check where it's at. It's at Green Bay.
Yes.
It's at Lambeau.
Yeah, it's at Lambeau. I'm still gonna pick the, but it's during the day, so I don't think it's that much big of a deal. I'm
Okay.
gonna still pick Lions. Are you picking Lions too?
Yeah, I pick Lions. I'm going by my, as you say, Max's top 5.
Yes.
That's what you say.
That's what I
Okay, Sunday Night Football. Joe Flacco and the Colts versus Sam Darnold and the Vikings. Imagine saying that at the start of the season. Imagine saying that 2 years ago.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's still in the league.
Sam Darnold starting. What happened?
I know.
Oh, never mind. They're 4-2. Yeah, that makes
No, they're
sense.
5-2.
5-2.
Yeah,
6-2.
maybe there's.
5-2. Because they were 5-0, and then they lost to the Lions, and then they lost to
they're
the
five-
Rams
they're
after a
5-2.
short week.
Yeah, they've already had a bye, so they're 5-2.
I still believe in the Vikings. I think you know that every single team, sort of like the 49ers a couple of years ago, 2 years ago? I'm going to say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Every single team that has played the Lions the next week has lost.
Oh.
So the Vikings played the Lions, and then especially after a short week, going to Thursday Night Football against the Rams with a healthy Puka and a healthy Cooper Kupp, they lost.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm still picking the Vikings. I think it's going to be closer because Joe Flacco is actually pretty good still somehow.
Yeah. Okay. To wrap this up here, the last game is Monday Night Football. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kansas City Chiefs.
Mike Evans is out for the season.
Will the Kansas City Chiefs go undefeated this year?
Mike Evans is out for the season. Chris Godwin, I don't even know if he's healthy. Name a receiver besides those two on the Bucks.
Who's their tight end? McBride?
I don't
No,
know.
he's on the Cardinals.
Exactly. I
Anyway.
picked the Chiefs. I don't want them to win.
I really want the Buccaneers to win, but this also makes our picks very boring because we're both picking all the same. But whatever. That's who we think's going to win. Maybe we'll go both with a 4-0.
Well,
Okay.
anyway,
Is it time for Max's top 5?
honorable mention, the Commanders. I think I would have put them here because of the exciting finish, but because you almost lost to the Bears, you're not in the top 5. But good job, Commanders. Jane Daniels, you look really good. I
Okay.
respect you.
Good.
Number 5, a team that lost to an embarrassing team, but I think it's not going to be very embarrassing the more it goes on in the season. The Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, their defense needs to help Lamar Jackson. You had 2 opportunities to pick off Jameis Winston, and you dropped both of them. One of them is because the sun was in his eyes. That makes sense. The other one is because Hamilton, I can't think of his first name. I'm just thinking of Alexander. Hamilton.
Yes, go ahead.
Hamilton just dropped it for no reason.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson also needs a wide receiver, which is why they just traded for Deontay Johnson from the Panthers. Good job, Panthers. You're actually in tank mode now. I'm proud of you. But the Ravens are doing good. I had them at number 1 before they lost to the Browns. And then they lost to the Browns. But I think the Browns, without Deshaun Watson, are a really, really good team, especially with Joe Flacco. And they had, I think it was 5 different quarterbacks start last year. And they still got second place in the division, made the wild card game. Lost to the Texans, but that's not the point.
Did
here.
you say the Ravens wide receiver was Hamilton?
Not wide receiver Hamilton, cornerback.
Okay.
But they traded for Deontay Johnson.
It's Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton.
Yes. I'm just
Okay.
looking that up too.
But Lamar Jackson needs help
yeah.
from his defense, from his wide receivers, and from Mark Andrews getting open. Although he did have a touchdown, I think, for National Tight End Day. But Ravens, number 5.
Okay.
Texans, number 4.
Okay.
CJ Stroud's doing pretty good. He had a bad game against the Colts, but he also just lost Stephon Diggs for the season. I think that's going to knock them down. Maybe you could switch to the Ravens and Texans here because I believe more in the Ravens as a good team, but they just played a bad game. But the Texans almost lost to Anthony Richardson, who needed a break, against and the Colts. I don't know if I don't know if the Colts benching Anthony Richardson is because of his poor performance after coming back from his concussion or because of his attitude problems. Because it seems that, if you're a starting quarterback in the league and you're in the red zone and it's third down, you don't ask for a water break, buddy.
Anyway.
It just seems like some issues he will mature out of. I don't know.
Okay.
But the Texans, I think they're a good team. They were playing under what they have. They lost Stephon Diggs for the rest of the season. Nico Collins is still on IR, but the defense is playing good. They need more help from their defense, who made it too close against the Colts. But they still got the job done. I think that winning ugly games is a sign that you can win games. That's why I have the Texans at 4. Number 3, Buffalo Bills. Have you seen any clips from the Bills Seahawks game? It was in Seattle and it sounded like a Bills home game. I'm not joking. There were so many Bills fans there. I don't know what happened.
Crazy for Seattle.
I don't know what happened to Seattle fans, or if there's just suddenly a lot of Bills Mafia out there. The Mafia. Never mind. but Josh Allen's playing really good. Also, Seattle, you're the team who is the first team to intercept Josh Allen for the entire season, and you're fighting each other on the sidelines. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
What are you doing? Bills are doing really good. I think adding Amari Cooper opens up the offense for Jameis Cook, for Keon Coleman, something with a K, Coleman. But they are doing good. No, not Leonard Floyd. He just came to the Niners. I don't know. Their defense is playing good. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to wrap this up because I don't want this to be very long, this episode, because we have more to record. But yes. And then number 2, I have the Chiefs. What do you want me to say? They added DeAndre Hopkins. What do you want me to say? They just beat the Raiders, and the only reason they beat the Raiders is because Gardner Minshew fumbled on the last chance for the Raiders to go and tie. Yippee, yahoo! I don't like the Chiefs. But they're 7-0. Ha ha.
Okay.
Anyway,
Your number 1 team.
Lions, Detroit Lions. They are the best team in the league. They have a dominant defense, especially. This sounds weird. Aiden Hutchinson getting injured ignited something in the rest of the defense. The Lions have the strongest next man up mentality I've seen from a team.
Oh yeah.
They have a really, really good running back duo, Sonic and Knuckles, and David Montgomery and Joshua Gibbs. Amon-Ra St. Brown is doing really good. Jared Goff threw a perfect game this season. What more do you want from the Lions?
And their special teams is really good.
Yes.
Like the Niners would love to have their special teams. I mean, that's just like amazing. So
What more do you want from the Lions?
To not do that good in the playoffs, please. We'll let the Niners get there. Or will this be the first year the Lions actually go to the Super Bowl? Because they've never been. And we whether play.
It's. I'm gonna be honest. It's looking like it's really gonna.
I know.
It looks like it might happen.
Yeah,
But
it looks
so
like right
those
now,
are my primetime picks. One thing I want to talk about is the injured list for the Niners. Deebo Samuel's probably is expected to come back after the bye week. Christian McCaffrey is expected to come after the bye week. Dre Greenlaw is expected to come a few weeks after the bye, which is good to see him come back. And Talanoa Hufanga is expected to miss the rest of the season with a wrist injury.
yeah. After he had an ACL last year, he has torn ligaments in his wrist.
And then Juwan Jennings is also expected to return. So it's going to be a good time to be a Niners fan coming out against
bye.
the Bills. No.
No, we played the Buccaneers first.
Buccaneers. We play the
Bills are
Buccaneers.
in a few weeks. No, we're not to there yet. We're not to Buffalo yet.
That's going to be a fun game, but I am stressed about the Bills game so much.
He's so stressed about
I'm
it.
so stressed. I'm so much more stressed about the Bills game than I was the Chiefs game, because the Chiefs game I was just like, can we just win? This one
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they might destroy us. Like if we don't have our act together, they might kill us. We might be.
Well,
they might break our knees and throw us in the ocean.
so Buccaneers are a good team. I mean, I think they're like 4-4, so the same record as the Niners.
They just lost to the Falcons because they're getting a lot of the injury bug
Yeah.
later in the season.
Yeah, and then they play the Seahawks, who that's an important game for first place in the division.
Yeah.
So again, tough games, and then they get you want more tougher? You go to Green Bay, to Buffalo, home against the Bears. They're not easy. They're not easy. You got home against the Rams, who already beat you.
Yeah.
You go to Miami, so this is
Also, you lost to the Rams when they were unhealthy,
yeah,
and they're probably are gonna be healthy by
Yeah.
then with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
So not a fun game.
And
Not
they
a
have
fun
so
game.
if you look at their since the Niners are here on the West Coast, they have to go all the way to Florida for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They go all the way to Buffalo,
Yeah.
and then they go all the way to Miami, and of course Green Bay's in the middle there. So they do have three really long, four kind of longish, three really long. Green Bay's middle of the country, but it's still a decent long trip. So
Yeah.
they do have a lot of flying miles still left to go in the Niners season. So anyway, any last parting thoughts for us today, Max?
No,
Nope. Okay.
I don't get a single thought in here. All
Okay.
of them have left.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Eastman Sport Report, your father, son,
Father, Son, Coach, Player podcast. We'll catch you next time on the Eastman Sport Report. Thank you all for watching.